So next we have a duo of Commander Denning and Lieutenant Dixon, who are both part of U.S. Coast Guard New Orleans. So Commander Kelly Denning is a 1998 graduate of the United States Coast Guard Academy. She served as a command duty officer at the 8th Coast Guard District Office in New Orleans, Louisiana from 2002 to 2005, where she managed numerous search and rescue cases and hurricane responses. She's been at Sector New Orleans since 2013 in the Response Department, where she oversees the missions of search and rescue, law enforcement, and pollution response for an area that encompasses 31 parishes in southeastern Louisiana and includes some of the nation's busiest deep draft ports. Her fun fact is that she did not respond to Deepwater Horizon because she just had her second child. But that's why she brought Lieutenant Dixon to help her out. So she covered herself. And she's also an Army brat and lived in Panama until she was 4 and has lived most of her life in New Orleans, longer than anywhere else. So she considers New Orleans her home. And then Lieutenant Dixon is a native of Forest Grove, Oregon. He enlisted in the Coast Guard in July of 2000 and advanced to Machinery Technician First Class in 2004. He currently serves as Commanding Officer at Station Grand Isle, Louisiana. And he leads law enforcement, search and rescue, and marine safety missions in the United States Coast Guard's largest area of operations of any small boat station located in the continental United States. So it's a mouthful. But without further ado, Commander Denning and Lieutenant Dixon, please come up.
Thank you.
Here's your agenda. There's a pointer there if you want, and then back and forth.
All right, I'll try not to mess this up. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having us today. It's really our pleasure to be here. I see a lot of friendly faces in the audience, folks I've seen at training that have trained me, people I've seen at responses. So thanks again for having us. As you may have gathered, I am not a scientist. I am a responder from both Paige's talk and our introduction. In fact, until about a year and a half ago, I was very comfortable in my incident commander role, responding to search and rescue cases, to law enforcement cases, and even to mass rescue operations. And then day one of my response department head job here at Sector New Orleans, I found myself as an incident commander for a major exercise, oil spill exercise, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But luckily, the state on-scene coordinator was a scientist, my environmental unit leader was very savvy, and the NOAA SSC was just a phone call away. So I learned very early on, basically day one of my job here, that I need my scientists and I'm not going to sign a plan or make a decision when it comes to response on behalf of the FOSC without the scientific community supporting me. So most of my experience has been in the ICP, which is also why I brought Lieutenant Dixon, not just so he could field any questions you all might have about Deepwater Horizon, because I've done this before and usually the questions are all around Deepwater Horizon, and I'm sorry, I'm very ignorant on that, although I have benefited from the research, but he's going to go into more detail of how science is applied at the field level. Ooh, it's moving on me. Okay. So our sector commander, who's Captain Wayne Arguin, he wears many hats in addition to managing the 800 plus people that work for him. He's the captain of the port. He's the officer in charge of marine inspections. He's a search and rescue mission coordinator. He's a federal maritime security coordinator. And finally, he's the federal on-scene coordinator. So pollution response is just one part of what we do at Sector New Orleans, and yet we have to be good at it, which again, is why we rely on our scientists. This gives you an idea of in 1 year what Sector New Orleans is responsible for. So Sector New Orleans' area of responsibility, we go over to the Mississippi line, we go up to mile 303 on the Mississippi River, and we go over just before Lake Charles on the Louisiana border. And then we also go out 200 miles. So it's a pretty big AOR. Again, this is just in 1 year, and if you'll see under the pollution enforcement cases, you'll see that we handle 25%. 25% of the nation's workload is done right here in Sector New Orleans' area. Now that also includes Morgan City's AOR, but that's why I've become very good at this job, or at least I think I have, Paige, in the last year and a half, because we've had a lot of experience. Okay. So our SSC, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, as I'm following Paige. But I'm going to basically boil it down to you from a responder perspective, and Paige started to do this, but when I get that call, first of all, the next person I'm calling is Paige. She's going to be on the line while we're hearing all this. But I want to know, what is it? Where is it? Where is it's important, because sometimes it's not mine. Sometimes it's Morgan City's. So if it's on the line, I can say, oh good, I don't need to worry about that. We'll pass that on to Morgan City's AOR. Where is it going? Obviously that's important. Who or what is affected by it, and what should we do about it? And as I've been trained by many folks in the room, especially when I know SSC, what's always in the back of my head is do more good than harm, ultimately, with your responses. Some of the stuff on here, weather forecasting through the National Weather Service, our SSCs and our NOAA scientific support in general is all hazards. So for example, when we had the Baton Rouge flooding earlier this year that we responded to, the very first day of response, where we got hundreds of people calling the command center that need to be plucked off of rooftops, and it's bad weather. There's lightning all around, there's little micro storms, and you're trying to put 15 helicopters into a small area. So we really relied upon NOAA and the Weather Service to tell us, hey, when's a good weather window when we can get our helicopters in there to go rescue people. So it's not just for pollution response, it's for other stuff as well. Information management, this is a big one, especially on our larger responses. We need a good team to synthesize all the information that's coming in, because sometimes there's a lot of it. And if you can't synthesize it, then that does not make it actionable. And that's what we're looking for as an incident commanders, is all the information in the world is great, but if you don't synthesize it and make it actionable, there's really not much we can do with it. Okay. More stuff that NOAA does for us. I know Paige's slide said, what can we do about it? But I prefer the what should we do about it. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do, and that's really where, again, our scientists help us make the decision on that. For example, you could have a 300 barrel spill, 100 nautical miles offshore, and it's calm weather. You can use dispersants. Should you use them? I don't know, but I'm going to certainly get a recommendation on what we're doing, especially if, say, there's no threat to the shoreline, then maybe you might consider using something else. I've also learned sometimes in the most sensitive marsh areas that the best response is actually just monitoring and doing nothing at all. So that was kind of surprising to me. As a responder, you want to go in and clean stuff up, but sometimes it's just best to let nature do its course and not do more damage to the marsh. Finally, with translating, again, most likely if you're working with someone in the Coast Guard, they're not a scientist, although I'm regularly surprised, even by some of our young junior petty officers, at what their degrees are in. But most likely we're not scientists, so unfortunately you're going to have to do a lot of translating with us. Because responses are often scientifically complex, especially the chemical releases. We've had a couple of them here on the river where we've got some off-gassing of ships, and those get real complex really fast, and you're worrying about, where is it going, who's affected, do you need to evacuate, so they certainly help us out with that, especially with the translating. But one lesson I did learn the hard way is sometimes it's incumbent upon us as incident commanders to translate that back to the public. I received a press release on one response that I was on, and we had some oiled wildlife, and in the press release it said that there was a oiled herp tile. And I asked the young petty officer that brought this to me, I'm like, what is a herp tile? Well, it's a turtle, man. I'm like, why don't we just say turtle? Well, we can't say turtle. We have to say herp tile. I'm like, do we? Okay, that's what we'll put in there. And sure enough, the news got a hold of that, and we're covering up the fact that the turtles are oiled because we put herp tile in there. And yes, I took a lot of heat from some of my coworkers with that, because I knew better. I should have translated it back to turtle, but we didn't. With that, I'll pass it over to Lieutenant Dixon. On the herp tile.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Commander.